welcome, John Loppnow, right? Did I
Yep.
pronounce that right? Okay. Co-author of The Joyful Journey. And we'll get to that.
You want to see?
Awesome. So when I was looking through your stuff, I went through every one of your videos and I took a question on each one of them. And in your first video, you were talking about mass adoption. What do you think would make mass adoption easier for people to join into crypto?
I think the ability to spend it easily.
Easily,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
a
it's
debit
on your phone.
card or Swift or on your mobile?
Probably mobile. I mean, mobile for mass adoption. I mean, I know it's there, but it's not easy for like my mom. Well, maybe my mom is super mass adoption. Just like
the end of the bell curve, right?
Yeah. That's exactly. So even like whatever. My friends or coworkers who are not into it, if they could spend it on their phone, that would be easy.
See, my thing is, I need a bank where they work with an exchange to where I can get my money there immediately. So that way, if I'm at the gas station and I want to pay with Bitcoin or whatever, and I need my gas and I don't have it loaded, well,
right. What's the point?
What's the point? So I think once we get through those hurdles, like, onboarding money is going to be hard. Exchanges are hard right now. Hopefully Yen simplifies that, but we'll see how. I think they're not going to be an on-ramp. I don't know. I haven't heard from them. So if you're not going to put fiat in through Yen to buy other currencies that I know of. So in video 2, you were talking like, I don't know where I got the question. It's kind of funny. So this is to get your teeth into it. How do you monetize Jesus? So the idea is, this is a business model and you're trying to make money. So what is the idea behind, or are you going to be a nonprofit, like working like that?
Yeah, no, I think basically the nonprofit model where we add enough value when people want to either donate, or we have services, like the tiered system that Peter and John has with Patreon. So if you want more access to me or me and my wife, give at the $30 a month level and you can join our monthly thing. And the $100 a month level, we'll do one-on-one coaching with you, or like we'll share more with you or tailor it to you. So there will be some products, but I think it's more the relational dynamic.
You're looking more for like a congregation or something like that online.
Yes, you could say that. I mean, it is. I've never thought of it as a congregation, but it kind of is. It's an online learning community, and a healthy congregation is learning and doing good and building relationships, and that's what I want to do. So that's kind of funny. Yeah.
So then in your Yen video, you were talking about how would you use Yen as a vehicle to spread your message? So you kind of got into that about the tiered system and whatnot. Now, what is your message? I think somewhere in there, you want people to be closer with Jesus, and you want to build your community based on, like camaraderie or brotherhood, or I forgot what I wrote in my notes there. That terrible me. That was a later question, but
community, belonging, creating belonging together.
Yeah. So, okay, this leads me into the question. What is your community going to look like?
So what I was saying, I was thinking about, Jesus is front and center for me, but I want to help anyone build quality relationships. So I just started from where I am. What does my community look like? Anybody who wants to build healthy relationships. And self-regulation is important because I think that's the only way you can build relationships, if you can regulate yourself and define yourself. But self-regulation comes first, because you can't define yourself unless you are grounded enough to know, this is who I am, this is where I stand, not in fear, not in anxiety, not in like hopelessness, but in groundedness. So,
and don't be the fake you, because if you fake it, I mean, you don't make it at all.
Yeah. So, and people know if you're faking it. I mean, there's like fake it till you make it. Like, I'm just going to go and like, even though I feel like a fraud, I don't know what I'm doing.
But if you're not being genuine, people actually can read through it.
They know it.
when I was on radio, I would always take my buddy hated me because I would just always take the opposite point just to add the conflict. Now I know people would see through it because sometimes I didn't even believe it myself, but it's just kind of, sharing that opposite view, you stir up the pot a little bit more. And I kind of like stirring the pot up.
Create some tension, you get some drama.
So one of your questions a couple weeks back was, how do you tap your network? Have you figured that out at all, or?
I haven't, so because I have 2,500 friends on Facebook. Of which, however many are really following me closely, it's much smaller than that. But how do I link them to YouTube? And then I was honestly thinking about the YouTube, Facebook algorithms. I haven't figured it out. And I was actually thinking of maybe making a video and posting them on both, like rather than like linking it.
Well, I think that'd be one way to do it. I think you would split your viewership though. I think unless you could get, those are up front and then in the background. So maybe when Yen's around, that would give you the background because the two videos would be linking you back to Yen. Right. I think just tap them and, share your YouTube video through Facebook, and say you get 5% people joining up, even if they're not all your friends and family. I mean, that's viewers that you don't have. And, maybe they share the video with and so you tap into a network that you didn't have before.
You're focus on one, for example, YouTube, share the YouTube link to Facebook.
Yep.
And it's going to be limited because I know Facebook, YouTube, they kind of don't like each other, algorithmically.
Yeah, well, they really don't. It's kind of hard to tell what the algorithms like and what they don't like, because if I read correctly on YouTube, it takes like 3 months for the algorithm to start kicking in for you personally. Like, you're building your videos up and it slow rolls into their system. So, I mean, maybe that's how Facebook does it, but if you got the comment, or, you bring them back to your website, like say, hey, I wrote a book, and they click on the book and they're like, oh, look, there's a YouTube video. And then maybe they click your YouTube video and now they're a follower on YouTube.
That's good. Yeah. No, I haven't. So that's a good question. I need to just do some more experimentation with it.
Well, I just kind of wanted to, if anybody watches this, they might want to help you.
Yeah, let me know. Like, I have some Facebook followers, Instagram. Yeah, what's the best platform? Where should I funnel them? I don't know.
It depends on your content. Like Instagram is a picture, a snapshot. How is that gonna?
Hey, come here. Look at my daughter. Look at the shirt she wore to school today. Come.
Oh,
check this out.
Awesome shirt.
Right?
I get to wear a collared shirt to work every day, and it's sad. It makes me sad. I'm Rob, by the way.
Say hi. Hi. Yes, we're making a video for our own growth, but the Yen Alpha Cohort. So
yeah, I like to talk an awful lot, and he's just listening very nicely. It's nice.
Thanks, Zoe. Say goodbye.
Very nice to meet you.
Are you gonna stay there, Zoe?
Yeah. Hey, that's a good backdrop. It's better than my, drop cloth. Right?
Yeah. No, that my daughter. Did you ever see Peter when he was doing some live streams? She sold Girl Scout cookies.
She did.
She made a video, and so like training her young, and she's got the personality to go for it. She's got some life.
Yeah, that's great. I won't tell you the Girl Scout cookie thing I heard around here, but it's kind of funny.
Okay. You'll have to tell me later.
They legalized for medical purposes, and they set up outside of there. I mean.
Yeah, that's right. That's smart. Smart. That's marketing.
We used to have a Girl Scout troop come to the dorms in college. Like they would be there and they'd set up right in the middle. We couldn't afford food better than mac and cheese, but we could eat Girl Scout cookies.
Right, yes. That's brilliant. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Oh man. So on your tiered system.
Yeah.
In your video, you said that you were going to try to spread your word globally. Is there going to be some sort of is that how your tiered system is going to be utilized to kind of travel? Because travel is expensive and hotels are expensive, and it's probably not a one-night stay when you do that.
No. We primarily we've been invited domestically, Kansas City, Chicago, my wife, New York, Seattle. to speak, so they cover that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've been to Korea, and we've spoken in 2 cities in Korea, and my wife spoke in 4 more places. So some of that is already covered because we're invited to speak. So we have relationships there. So we could even do some of this online and just build off of the relationships we already have. And the book that we wrote is with a ministry called Life Model Works, and they have been all over. So we can just kind of relationally collaborate there. So a lot of access, actually.
Okay. Well, you know, it's just, you know, kind of getting the whole like tiered view and seeing how you,
Yeah.
do it. So you're about self-regulation biologically, like to,
Yes, I think
physiologically. And, so my question is, do science and religion work together well?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think, I mean, so my perspective is God's the creator, and science observes creation. And so, and we know that science can change. You know,
Yep.
I mean, you just go back 50 years, 100 years. So you got to hold those things lightly. I mean, but whatever you know right now, you build upon. It's like building a
I mean, it's
business.
like astronomy. I love astronomy, and every other day there's a different theory about how creation happened, or the Big Bang, or multi-universes, and it's a pretty interesting times. I can't wait. Although I love the fact that we can look and see that other planets are habitable,
Yeah.
and they can't tell us if we have a 9th planet in our solar system yet or not. So I think that's funny.
Are you talking about Pluto or a different one?
No. There's scientific fact that there's something out in the Kuiper Belt that is making things act weird. And so they say it's got to be a planet the size of Neptune out further, or bigger than Neptune, out further into the Kuiper Belt. But they can't see it. They can't prove it. It's dark, and they don't know anything about it.
Well, maybe it's an alien space base or something like that.
It could be. Maybe it's like the movies. Like, you got to make it that far before they'll give us the keys to their technology.
There you go. So yeah, science, religion, I love that. And no, I think science it's observations, and we're humans. And if I say that God gave us the ability to observe those things and take note and build upon it, I think that's wonderful. And I think religion,
I kind of throw those questions in there just to have fun with it.
That's good. And
so, sorry, let me look at my notes again. I guess in one of your, how will you how are you going to interact with your community? Is it going to be through video, or are you going to do meetups personally in a local geography? And then how are you going to handle conflict in your community? Are you going to kind of let them be adults, or are you going to like?
You have a good question there, because one of the things I learned from my mentor about your adult comment is in psychological development, actually so we are physical adults, but in terms of emotional, psychological maturity,
we're all different.
We all have different holes in our maturity, and we need each other. We need support. So we need the community. But yes, there's wisdom, there's practical tools and ways of interacting. So modeling, you got to model, you got to teach, you got to equip. And people will follow. Some will fall away. Some won't want to do the work. You know, that's true of any organization.
Like our cohort.
Yeah, exactly. No, you put any 10 or more people together, you know?
I think that I don't even think it has to be that much. You can put 4 people in a room and one of them will drop out.
Yeah. So I was,
I'm not getting enough attention, or this is just not for me, or I got better things to do with my time. So I'm going to talk. I didn't get your value 3 videos, so I got to go back and look. But your first value video was creating your community to make a sense of belonging, and you said you were going to like write them a note or make them a small video. Now that sounds great if your community is 100 people, but what if you scale to 10,000 or 20,000? Are you going to have a group of people do that message, or is it just going to turn into an email? Have you given it thought about scaling?
I think that's great. And I think it just goes to modeling and yeah, your personal interaction with people. I forgot the name. There's some like sociological law or Dunbar. And there's basically, you can know personally about 150 people. That seems to be like the size of a community that you can know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how it works on like the digital community, probably similar, but that's like kind of living in community, like a group. So there's going to be some natural limitations, but if you equip and you model people, how do you create belonging? Part of the point of that is you can be a proactive initiator, a protagonist in creating community, rather than waiting for you to find a place to belong. You can actually be proactive in creating a place to belong for yourself and others. So that's the kind of value that we'd want to like create self-propagating communities and small groups of people that can belong and feel like they can grow, which I think we're experiencing here. You know, you can kind of see it in the Discord chats and yeah, that's there. So I think that's one way.
I mean, people fall into their kind of their self-taught roles, I guess you would say, because, you know, I've always kind of been a just get it done type. So.
Well, you've been, but the things that you've been doing, at least in this community, get it done, are pro-social in that they create community and they benefit, like the list of videos.
My idea is I want everybody to win. And so, you know, if you need help doing OB, I'll sit there and watch a YouTube video for 20 minutes and figure out the problem. I don't know it, but I'll figure it out. You know, and like I said, I've dedicated this couple hours at night to be my second job. And so I've been just kind of hammering away at it. But I try to smash whatever I do. I mean, I would be a quartermaster, but I cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You're creating belonging by what you do. I mean, you're benefiting me right now, but even like creating that list and like we see it, and you know, like people see what we do.
Well, and now you guys can watch somebody that you don't have like in your, you know, and if you're bored, you can go to the list and look up a video. And I'm trying to make the list more readable instead of just links, but the past few like 11 videos for everybody was kind of a lot to put titles, and so I'm going back and putting titles on all that. But
you know what, we like as a community, since you're doing all that work, the minimal we could do is just create give us a little protocol, you know, like title, something.
You know, I feel like, but you know, the list is not part of our discussion.
That's true.
I don't want that part of your interview. I don't really care. I feel like for a while there, everybody was overwhelmed. So, you know, and when you get overwhelmed, you just narrow your focus, which is fine. And that's how you survive. And
you can take this out, but I just want to say the point in the creating community is we be proactive and we'll do it in our own style, in our own flair.
But I mean, there are people that edit the list. I mean, I can name it all. And, you know, they do it their own way, like keeping the flow. Brandon, if you look at the list, it's like yellow and gold and like all these like
oh, he did that. He did
that himself. I was like, well, I would love to be able to do that. But, you know, if I was better back in high school, I used to do a lot of like, I did competitions and stuff for like Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, and they'd send me across the country to compete. And I used to know Access enough that I could have made a document. So I enter the stuff in and it would go into a database. So if I pick your name and I enter video 1, blah, 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 I don't remember that anymore. I haven't used that. I bake cookies now. So, but you know, you lose your sharpness. And this is what I'm enjoying about this whole thing is I'm getting to exercise it again, because I was in college. I did talk radio for 4 years, you know, so, and I love it. I used to love doing it. I would drive an hour and a half to campus because I was living with my girlfriend at the time away from it and do my show. So
whoa, commitment.
It was fun. So I guess I don't have very much, because like I said, I got value 2 was your 478. You want to explain that a little bit in this video to people?
Yeah. So what was the value 2 was the self-regulation?
That one's self-regulation. So value is creating community by belonging was 1, and then your breathing exercise, self-regulation. Like I said, I didn't get your 3rd video on this. Maybe
sure.
At the time.
So the self-regulation value is to me, there are some very simple practices to help you build relationships. And even like with yourself, like, oh, I'm overwhelmed with anxiety. What do I do? How do I calm myself down? Or I'm really pissed off at my partner or my kids. I want to relate to them well, but something needs to be addressed here.
Yeah.
4-7-8 it's a breathing technique that is out there. You can Google it, but the main thing is you breathe in for 4, a count of 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. And any good breathing exercise, you just even pay attention to it. But if you engage your parasympathetic nervous system, that's the calming down one, that's the exhale. If you make your exhale longer than your inhale, you're engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, and you will naturally slow down, be regulated. And now there's limits. Obviously, if you're really furious and overwhelmed, you might need to do something different. But general practice, excellent.
Yeah. Well, hey, you had it as one of your values. I wanted to add it to this, and that is all I had for interview questions. And I tried to make it kind of short so that way I know you had stuff for school and all that. But anybody watching, make sure you check out The Joyful Journey. I'll put a description in the link below. Is it on Amazon or is it just local?
It is on Amazon for Kindle, but the publisher doesn't sell it directly with them, so it's like just second sellers.
So maybe, do you have a website?
What's that?
Do you have a website?
I do, and you could go to immanueljournaling.com.
Okay.
And it's very limited. We gotta boost it, but that's where we are. We are going to start a website called Presence and Practice. So it's not there, but it will be. So
it will be. Yeah. And you know what? I think that's when you change all your channels to match that. So your Instagram will match that. And you don't even have to start a new channel. You can take your personal channel and just change it to that. So you won't have to start so your content can stay there.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to change my name of my channel soon. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I've been kicking ideas around. One of them was taken. So
nice. Hey man, I really appreciate you and taking the time to do this. And I think
I love talking to new people every day. Like I could do it every day. My girl is she's in the back of the party. You don't know she's there. I'm probably the guy standing on the coffee table saying, "Hey, how are ya?"
That's funny. Yeah, because I'm more like you, and my wife is more, she wants to talk to one person, have a meaningful conversation. Yeah. And I like that too, but if I'm in a group, I want to connect with a bunch of people.
But see, here's my philosophy on that is if you're talking to the whole crowd, that one person she might be focusing on is a waste of time. And I will find the person that I want to talk to at the party. And then probably by the end of it, I will be drinking beer with them and saying, "Hey, how's it going?" So that's it, because, you don't know who's there if they're a bunch of strangers. And then I don't act like an idiot, and I don't drink kind of crazy, not since college, but I don't know you. So if you don't like me, whatever.
Fine.
It's fine.
Leave it.
All right. I'm going to stop recording and we'll wrap that up.